How are we going, everyone? I've got some superfood here in the bag. These are the 30-litre bags that we are distributing at the moment. We are still going through the trial period, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Superfood is a new casting made by soldier fly larvae, and this is the result of 7 days of feeding. Now, the larvae go into the food waste, which is basically food that hasn't been processed and otherwise going to landfill. So we're basically closing the loop. If you remember many, many moons ago, and I'm talking about 10 plus years ago, MWMG, Metro Waste Management Group, I was promoting green waste organics, and they were recycling green waste. Well, this new company has come a long way, and they are recycling food waste. Stuff that doesn't get sold, doesn't get used or cooked, and ends up in a landfill. It causes a lot of problems with carbon and all things like that. Is now being processed. So we are remaking fertiliser in Australia. Another innovative idea here by a new upcoming company. We've taken it on, we're branding it. We've got samples taken out all over Australia. So we're doing our trials, sensory survey, and the results will be coming back in the coming days, because we've already sent out the reports for them to fill in. So looking forward to get some feedback and see how we're going. I'm doing my trials here as well. I've got some plants, a heap of plants actually, that I've top dressed with the superfood. But you know what I want to do? I actually want to grow some stuff in here. It sounds crazy. As soon as I said it to a few colleagues, they said, "What for? It's a fertiliser." I go, "Yeah, I know, but it's so clean. It's so rich with nutrients. I don't think it's going to burn my plants. I actually think it's going to activate them." Look, it's too expensive to have it as a potting medium, folks. Way too expensive. But for the benefit of anything, if anything, for the benefit, I'm doing it so I can see how safe it is to use in your garden. So we say 70 grams, 100 grams, 150 grams per square metre of application. And if you're like me, I never measure. I always go by eye. Or if you're like my family and friends, they put on twice as much as what you would normally go with the recommendation. So if it says 100, they put 200, sometimes 3. So for that purpose, I want to test it and see how safe it is to grow directly in it. Now, I've got a couple of plants here that I've neglected. This is a little mandevilla, believe it or not. It's a climber. It produces a trumpet-like flower. Beautiful plant. You know, when we had the garden centre, I loved them. They were vibrant, beautiful colours to see, and really just brightens up a dark spot. It was grown in one of those little jiffy pods we have. So they grew it in that. It's got a bit of moss in it, but it's grown out of there. But you can see it's pushed its roots through. We've got a little bit of slag there, and that's from a little slug. Now, if you've got snails and slugs, folks, remember we've got Eradicate Eco, which is certified organic snail bait, so safe for all family animals and wildlife. So that's how you control those. But now back to this. I'm going a little bit large in the size. Normally you would go from this size to a 6-inch pot, then up to an 8-inch pot. 150 mil, then 200 mil. This one is basically a 6-inch square pot. It'll be perfect for that. So we're potting these both up. Have a look at the roots on this. Dehydrated, we're not watering it enough. That's what we call neglect. So it's done well. Elderflower. We've got elderberries, elderflowers, and all sorts of wonderful plants growing on in this world, isn't it, eh? I'm just teasing at the roots here a little bit. Let's see, here we go. Nice, that's it. I don't need to break it up too much more than that. That's fine. This one needs very little. Look, that just crumbles away. I don't want to tear them off too much. Let me just loosen that off so they don't break away too much. We've kept them intact, most of them. Okay, so we're going to work with this little plant and that. And here we go. You might think I'm nuts. I know some people who know that I'm nuts. Now, folks, I said I don't think this is going to burn my plants. I really don't know. We've done a pH test on it. It sits around 6, 5.5 sometimes. That's fine. We don't know when we add water if it's going to leach out. I'm not putting any black grit in here. And one thing, more importantly than anything else, do not do this. This is a trial. I'm doing this as a trial to see if I can grow a plant in here without killing it from the excessive nitrogen, if there is any at all. This is all organic. These are microbes. We're not playing with synthetic fertilizers. So it may cause a little bit of burning if it's a little bit rich, or it may do absolutely nothing besides give it wonderful growth. And we won't know until we do this trial. So I'm picking these two plants as the sacrificial plants. There's no peat moss. There is absolutely nothing else besides the castings that have been produced by the larvae. It's online, folks. Look, quietly speaking, I know this product is going to go like wild. It's going to go crazy out there. It doesn't become hydrophobic, so as a medium, this feels bloody fantastic. It really does. So if you want to give it a go, get yourself some stuff now, because this trial period is going to finish in about 3 or 4 weeks, and the price is going to go way up. It is below cost price. We're absorbing a lot of the costs here, so we can get it out there. But I'm doing these trials as well. You can see how I'm pressing around the outside, just to compact it, tap a little bit. I'm doing these trials as well, so that I can see for my own, with my own 2 eyes, and my own experience real time, how good or dangerous or bad the product is. It's ticked every box. Did you know, if I can find some, I don't know if this is it. Oh, there it is. That is, see that's the exoskeleton of the larvae, the insect. They grow 2,000 or 3,000 times. Don't quote me on that exactly, but I think it's about that within 7 days. Within their lifetime, they've got an 18-day lifetime. So from the moment they're born, they've got an 18-day lifetime before they become an adult. Now, they shed their exoskeleton or their shell a few times in the cycle of growth, and that ends up in the frass, or as we know, the castings. Now, in here, there's probably 2,000 times more microbes in here and fungi than there is in your typical handful of soil or compost. This will give you more life in your soil than most other products that you get there organically made like this. But everything's beneficial. So what this does can be slightly different to what chicken manure does and cow manure does. That's why we say rotate, mix it up. But this is a superfood, and by title, I reckon it's going to do super wonderful things to our plants. So that exoskeleton, and I didn't finish explaining that, when that is present in the soil, it causes the plant, it tricks the plant to thinking there's an insect there, and technically, or not, generally it would think it's an actual predator. So when this particular plant, let's say it's been attacked by an insect, it'll give off a signal to warn other plants in the same garden bed or vicinity that there's a predator present in the garden. Prepare yourselves. And that's what this food does. This superfood will trigger the plant, and it's not a bad thing. It actually puts it into defense mode. It'll start to grow better. So all we're checking now is whether or not the superfood will cook the roots on this plant. I don't think it will, but I've been proven wrong many a time, so that's why I'm doing the trials. Now, what we're going to add to this, we are going to stimulate the microbes in here, and we're going to add our biostimulant, which is our Eco Butch, and I've added liquid gold in here as well. I've broken the O-ring on here, so it's going to drip a little bit out here, folks. So I'm just going to be ever so careful. There we are, soaking it. Look how fast it runs. Watch this. Look how good this stuff is. It just soaks right through. It's like cocoa coir or cocoa pith, right through. And it does hold probably about 30% of its weight, or 30 times its weight. Is that how it works, or 10 times its weight? Oh, that's heavy now. Is it coming through yet? There we go. You can see that is holding a lot of water, considering it's only got a couple of trickles coming out of one side. All right, we're going to leave these somewhere where they get plenty of morning sun. Let me give these seedlings. Oh, look at these. Remember we sowed these about a week ago? Well, my lovely dog, because I think we sprinkled some fertiliser on this, but he stepped into here, stepped over there, scratched around, moved the seeds around, but they still germinated, so that's doing well. That's in our cocoa pith. Given that a liquid feed, so that'll activate it. We're going to transplant these later. Let's put these somewhere safe. This looks like a good spot. And yes, folks, the liquid fertiliser ain't going to cook them because I did it at half strength. It's the nutrients in there. So all I've done is activated it as if it's in the ground, and growing it directly in it with the all superfood, nothing else, should show me a serious and honest result whether or not the product is going to cook it. It doesn't make it a bad product. It just means it's rich. But I'm banking on that it will still grow. It's like a rich organic matter. If it's a little bit acidic, that's fine, because we got black grit, and that's what that does. It balances out. So the containers that we've got at the moment, the superfood pellets and organic fertilizer, they're both organic, but one's a pellet and one's a fine grain, like this stuff here. Both of those, in those containers, they all have black grit added into it, so it's enhanced. So that's part of the trial that we're going through at the moment that we've sent out to everybody. Whereas this stuff here in the bag, it's pure superfood, nothing else but the frass or castings from the larvae and billions upon billions of bacteria and fungi going on there. And that's what we're trialing here now. So we're doing it with and without black grit. I should have done one with black grit now that I think about it, but let's just start with this for now. Let's monitor it each day, each second day, and if we see any major or drastic changes, we'll announce it straight away. In the meantime, check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. The Superfood is heavily discounted because we want you all to give it a go. We know it's going to do wonderful things in your garden, wonderful work with the microbes in the soil. Get it out there, try it out and see the results and let us know so we know which way to go with the product, whether you want it in bags, containers or bulk load as well. vasilisgarden.com from me, Vasili Maresi.